The Lions, meanwhile, are the ones who have Jared Goff. There's been speculation about whether or not they'd be interested in taking a quarterback at number 7. Brad Holmes, the new GM of the team, says that the recent trades that have happened with the 49ers moving to 3, the Dolphins ending up at 6 with the Eagles dropping out, Holmes says that it doesn't change their draft plans at all. So the Lions should be targeting what or whom with that 7th overall pick, Chris?
Well, I look at it 2 different ways. I mean, you know enough about the Lions here. Let me just throw these out there. What do you think? I mean, first off, we saw Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay leave at wide receiver. So that would be one position I'd look at and go, wait, you want Jared Goff to work and you want to be able to sell that? You know, will a Devontae Smith or a Jamar Chase be there at 7? There's a good chance. Okay, Mike, so there's that avenue I look at. And then the other thing I just look at is going, you know, a defensive lineman, a difference maker up there. You know, I haven't watched linebackers yet as far as stand-up linebackers, so I don't know where those guys stand quite yet. I can't give you that, Mike. But pass rushers, there's 1 or 2 or 3 guys that are worthy of being right there in that pick. And again, when we talk about the Lions, there's no difference maker up front on the front 7. So to me, it's one of those 2 areas. And pass rusher or wide receiver, and I don't know, Mike, when you look at the Lions, what do you think is more desperate there?
Well, absolutely receiver.
Yeah.
When you have those 2 best receivers on your team leave, but I have flashbacks to Charles Rogers and Roy Williams and Mike Williams. Now, Calvin Johnson worked out well for Matt Millen and company, but this is the team that seemed like it was drafting a receiver in the first round every year. And we talked earlier about the Bengals being in prime position to call the Broncos or who else is in that the
Carolina Panthers.
We talked about the Panthers or the Broncos about trading up. You could give the Lions a call about getting in front of the Dolphins if that's where the Dolphins are looking, and you get your choice of receivers. If it goes quarterback, and you aren't looking quarterback as the Lions, you move up with the Bengals. You got the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it would take to move up 2 spots, but that's something to consider as well, to cut the line in front of the Dolphins if there's a receiver that they really love, if it is Devontae Smith, if it is Jamar Chase, and they don't want the Dolphins to get that guy, cut the line, get your guy, and then you've got someone that Jared Goff can throw to. I still don't rule out a quarterback for them, although I think it becomes less and less likely as these teams are stacking up in front of them that are going to be taking quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, I mean, agreed. And I think the other thing you could talk about with the wide receiver thing, too, is just like, you know, again, does it matter? Does Jared Goff the kind of guy that needs that, like, home run, throw the ball 50 yards down the field type of threat? I think that's a real question. I'm not sure he's necessarily that type of quarterback anyways. You know, so and you know, more than likely, or listen, I know I've studied the receivers. There'll be a good one there in the top of the 2nd round too, to think that maybe you could go that direction. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what they go as far as that's concerned. You know, do they try to get a weapon for Anthony Lynn's offense there and stretch the field a little bit, or do they help Aaron Glenn in the defense a little bit and get a top flight pass rusher or something like that? They got position needs everywhere. I mean, the Lions are a rebuild of a football team. There's nothing you look at on their team where you go, well, they're good in that department. I mean, really, no. They need a little work just about everywhere on their roster, and they got a lot of work in front of them.
Yeah, I think the fact that they swapped Stafford for Goff, and part of that deal was they were inheriting the Rams' horrible contract and paying Goff $40-some million fully guaranteed over the next couple of years, getting those 2 first-round picks, getting that 3rd-round pick. This is about building something. And you know, it's a strange dichotomy because you go from having Bob Quinn as the GM and Matt Patricia as the head coach, and there's this sense of we're pushing to win. And then you hit the reset button, and it's kind of like, okay, we're taking a huge step back, and this is going to be a while, folks. You're used to it. We've been crap for 60 years, haven't won a playoff game for 30. Give us a year or 2 to figure out exactly where in the hell we are, because other than looking for guys who bite kneecaps, we're not quite sure what we're looking for or what we have by way of players.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, they could be in, you know, just the best player available type scenario. I mean, it could be an offensive lineman. Again, like I said, I don't know about the linebackers there. They could be a team that just goes to look to trade down and go, we need a lot of stuff. There's not one guy here in the top 10. It'll be interesting just to see what they do there as far as they got a lot of ways to go. There's a lot of building to go on the football team. And there's not, I'm excited about the running back with Swift and TJ Hawkinson at tight end. And again, Okwara had a pretty good year as a pass rusher this year. He showed up. They're paying all that money to Trey Flowers. We haven't seen him show up. So I don't know. Maybe they don't go the pass rusher that I talked about there. Maybe they ride that out another year. Maybe it is more about defensive tackle, linebacker, safety, something like that. But either way, I know the Lions team is in a little bit of a rebuild mode.
And I think all the draft picks they use this year are going to be used on guys that fit that mold. I joke about kneecap biting. I mean, Dan Campbell's the one who said it. But it's that old school throwback, that 49ers mentality of we don't need to practice tackling. We can roll out of bed and put you on your ass. That's the mindset they're looking for. That's the Chris Spielman mindset.
Sure.
Rick Spielman told me a few weeks ago, after his wife saw the Dan Campbell introductory press conference, Rick Spielman's wife said, this is exactly the guy Chris is going to hire to be his head coach, right? So that's the other side of it here. There's a lot of spoons in the stew in Detroit. You've got Campbell as the head coach, Brad Holmes as the GM. Chris Spielman, who has a lot of juice in that organization now, is basically the surrogate for owner Sheila Ford Hamp. Rod Wood, the CEO of the team, who's got a lot of juice, more than the usual CEO who stays out of football so he doesn't get fired when it goes sideways. They're going to have, I think, a challenge reaching a consensus because Spielman and Campbell are going to be pushing for that guy that they got excited about because they saw the film where he put some guy on his ass.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You also think, hey, Campbell, he comes from the Bill Parcells, Sean Payton school of thought. Anthony Lynn, a rough and tough, wants to run the ball, be physical type of guy. I mean, that's where you get into the offensive line conversation. There's going to be some guys there, too, but maybe that's where Dan Campbell looks at it and goes, well, I want to set it up like Sean Payton did with the Saints. We're going to have a great offensive line to start with, dominate you up there, and then they're going to work on it. I could see it going all angles here, certainly, but I think you're right. It's going – there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but I do think they're all roughnecks there, for lack of a better way to say it. And they're going to try to get that guy that kind of fits that new attitude of that Detroit Lion football team.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think once they make that pick, I have a feeling we're going to say, yep, we should have seen that one coming.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.